The illusion of chastity. Why medieval convents were hotbeds of scandal. Medieval convents were meant to be sanctuaries of devotion, prayer, and purity, a place where women could dedicate their lives to God free from worldly temptations. Yet beneath the serene facade of cloistered life lurked a world rife with scandal, forbidden desires, and clandestine affairs. Far from being bastions of virtue, many convents became arenas of carnal intrigue. Why did these scandals happen? Forced vocations. Many young girls were sent to convents against their will by families seeking to preserve wealth or status, trapped in a life they didn't choose. Some rebelled through acts of defiance, including sexual relationships. Isolation and power dynamics. Convents were isolated communities, often governed by abbesses with unchecked authority. This environment sometimes led to abuses of power and secretive liaisons among nuns or between nuns and clergy. Human nature. Despite vows of chastity, nuns were still human beings with natural desires. The suppression of these instincts often resulted in explosive expressions of rebellion against religious constraints. 2. Shocking stories from the sacred halls. From secret lovers to illicit pregnancies, the scandals that unfolded within medieval convents shocked contemporaries and continue to fascinate historians today. 1. The affair of Abbess Hildegard. In 13th century Germany, Abbess Hildegard of a prominent Benedictine convent was accused of engaging in an affair with a local priest. Letters exchanged between them revealed steamy details of their trysts, which took place during nighttime visits facilitated by corrupt gatekeepers. When her indiscretions came to light, Hildegard attempted to bribe church officials into silence, but ultimately faced exile. 2. Children born behind cloistered walls. One of the most scandalous revelations involved entire convents where multiple nuns gave birth to children fathered by priests or laymen. In one infamous case in 14th century France, investigators discovered over 20 infants living secretly within the walls of a single convent. The babies were cared for by older nuns, while their mothers continued performing daily rituals as if nothing had happened. 3. Lesbian love affairs among nuns. Historical records hint at romantic and physical relationships between nuns, described euphemistically as special friendships. A 15th century Italian nun named Benedetta Carlini claimed visions of divine ecstasy during which she received mystical visits from Christ, but confessions later revealed these experiences were inspired by her passionate relationship with another nun. Such cases highlight how same-sex desire found expression even in the most restrictive environments. 4. Corruption of clergy and priests' visits. Priests assigned to hear confession or administer sacraments frequently exploited their access to convents. Accounts exist of priests seducing nuns under the guise of spiritual guidance, leading to widespread accusations of moral decay within the church. Some bishops turned a blind eye, fearing exposure would tarnish the institution's reputation. 3. The aftermath, punishment and reform. When scandals erupted, the consequences varied depending on the severity of the offense and the influence of those involved. Punishments ranged from public shaming and imprisonment to brutal executions. Public humiliation. Nuns caught in compromising situations were often stripped of their habits, paraded through towns, and branded as sinners. Their humiliation served as both punishment and warning to others. Convent reforms. Repeated scandals prompted efforts to reform monastic life. New rules restricted visitors, enforced stricter surveillance, and mandated regular inspections by bishops. However, enforcement remained inconsistent, allowing old patterns to resurface. Suppression of evidence. To protect the church's image, many cases were quietly buried. Documents were destroyed, testimonies suppressed, and guilty parties relocated rather than punished. This culture of secrecy ensured that countless scandals went unrecorded. 4. More than just scandals, a glimpse into human fragility. While tales of forbidden love and illicit behavior make for sensational reading, they also reveal deeper truths about the human condition. Medieval nuns were not saints carved from marble. They were real people, grappling with loneliness, longing, and societal expectations, acts of rebellion. Some nuns used scandalous behavior as a form of protest against oppressive systems. By breaking their vows, they asserted agency over their bodies and lives, challenging patriarchal structures that sought to control them. Complex relationships. Not all scandals stemmed from malice or lust. Many nuns formed deep emotional bonds with each other, finding solace and companionship in a world devoid of familial ties. These relationships, though condemned by the Church, underscored the universal need for connection. 5. Lessons from the past, reflecting on power and desire. The carnal scandals of medieval nuns remind us that no institution is immune to human weakness, not even the holiest ones. They expose the dangers of forced vocations, unchecked authority, and rigid moral codes that ignore basic human needs. The scandals of medieval nuns may shock us, but they also humanize history, reminding us that even in the most sacred spaces, people are driven by the same desires and struggles that define us all.